Hi, guys. Sometimes what seems like a really good idea is not. And so this semester I had this class set up in modules. And because so many of you had me last semester, you were assuming that things were set up the same way they were last semester, and it caused some confusion. So I've gone back and reconfigured the course so that it is not in modules. But then I decided, I better re-explain how to navigate. So that's what this is. When you come in to the main page, this is what it looks like. And what we're going to be looking at right now is under announcements. There is an announcement that says new rules for navigation. And so I'm going to click on that. And then it says here are our new rules for navigation. And so I'm going to click on that. And here are our new rules. Says on popular request, I've dumped the use of modules and gone back to the I've got to fix that, traditional mode of course presentation. So new rules for navigating this course. First, every day, regardless of whether you plan to work on the course that day, you need to check the announcements. Because this is where I correct misunderstandings, this is where I herald opportunities, remind you of deadlines, make suggestions for improving your game, and frequently announcements ask you to respond. And so over here on the left-hand side, there is a place just that says announcements. So every day you're going to come in and you're going to look at the announcements. You see right now, this is the newest one, is new rules for navigation. But there was one that was put up earlier today saying, please reply. And there was one that talked about textbook lectures, and there's one that says urgent, she's getting bossy. Here's another one that asked for a response. Here's another one that asked for a response. Here's another one that asked for a response. So it's important every day, even if you're not going to work in Canvas that day, to come in and look at the announcements and respond if appropriate. Okay? Our next new rule for navigation says, anytime you enter to work, go to the Assignments tab. And so this is the Assignments tab. When you enter the Assignment section, be sure the top of the page you've clicked on the tab at the right corner that says Type. This puts the assignments in groups, and then you can see what work you need to be working on, even if it does not have an immediate due date. This is where some of you mess up and not see things that you should be working on right away. So we're going to click on Assignments. Over in the top right, it says Date. If you have that one clicked, then it just has everything listed as to when it's due, and that can be deceptive because the assignments, last semester you told me I didn't give you enough time on discussions, and so I've given you a longer lead time on discussions, and so because of that, a discussion may show up way down here when you actually need to be working on it up here. And so what you need to do is every time you come into assignments, click on Type. When it has it on Type, it has it according to the groupings of how you're supposed to work on things. And so it will say Module 1, and these are the 4 things you were supposed to be working on last week. Lives of Distinction assignment, that is a discussion that nobody has worked on, and that should have been the very first thing you had started on, and nobody's done a thing on it. MD regulations, some of you have done. Special ed and ELA, some of you have done, most of you have done the introductions all around. So it's very important that when you come into assignments, when you click on assignments, the default on assignments is going to be by date. You don't need to be it by date, you need to have it by type. And you know you've got it right when it's got it grouped like that. Okay. So back to our announcement. So, new rules for navigation. New rule number 1 was that every time you come in, you're going to come in every day, regardless of whether you're going to work on Canvas that day, you're going to come in and check the announcements. Then anytime you enter to work, you're going to click on the Assignments tab first. When you go into the Assignments tab, you're going to click on the right corner where it says Type so that the assignments are put in groups. The next thing you're going to do is click on the discussion tab. Now the discussions are actually listed under the assignments, but to make sure you don't miss anything, then every time you come into work, click on discussions. And the discussions that you're supposed to be working on at any time will be pinned at the top. And so you can see that there's been a lot of activity on this introductions all around, but almost no one has, in fact, no one has worked on the Lives of Distinction assignment. So it's absolutely essential that as soon as you get the stuff done that is due tomorrow, you have got to start working on the Lives of Distinction assignment, because tomorrow this assignment right here is going to end up being pinned up there, and so then there will be 3 assignments that you'll have to work on all at once. So it's absolutely essential that every time you come into work, you click on the discussions tab and work on the discussions that are there. So one of the things that I put here about the discussions is that the minimum is that you do 1 original post for every discussion, and then you interact with 3 classmates. But for the discussions to work, everybody has to keep participating until the discussion is closed, because if somebody comes in late and you've already interacted with 3 people and then you don't ever come back to it, they don't have anybody to interact with. And so it's important that you check in at least twice a week and interact with your classmates that you haven't interacted with yet. Okay? The next thing is, do you have questions or concerns? Well, if you have questions or concerns, here's the place to go. This is the chat room. The chat room is also where I will be doing office hours. So I will be in the chat room live every morning at 9 o'clock. This is during weekdays. Every morning at 9 o'clock, I'll be in the chat room, and I stay for about a half hour. And then every evening at 9 p.m., I'll be in the chat room. And so all you have to do is, any time in the day or the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got a question, then you just click on the chat room, type your question in, and then the next time I'm in there, I will respond to it. So if you want to talk to me live, come at 9 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night on a weekday, and I'll be there. But if you just have a question and you want to go ahead and put it up there so you won't forget it, you can put it up there at any time. Now, here's the trick to the chat room. When you click on the chat room, it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 seconds for it to pop up. I don't know why it is so slow. It's the only tab that does this. But you can see, you think it's broken because nothing's happening, and you wait and you think, oh man, the chat room's not going to work anymore. And so what am I going to do? And there it is. Now, the other thing you need to notice about the chat room is that the stuff that is up here stays up here forever. So Charlotte posted something on July 2nd. It's still there. I posted something earlier today. It's still there. And then Amanda just posted something just a few minutes ago, and I didn't see it till right now. And Amanda, I will go back and respond to that in just a minute. So this is what you need to do. Now on here, and I'm going to pick on Amanda, she says, describe the model on page 8 as you understand it. I have no idea what assignment that is. So you've got to go in and say, on assignment such and such, this is where this is. Because I have developed a lot of these assignments some time back, then when you pick a direction out of the blue, I may not recognize what it is. And so on the chat room, it's really important that you describe, that you tell me, on such and such assignment, this is the part I don't understand. Okay, so that is the chat room. So now, announcements, back to announcements, back to our rules for navigation. Back to our rules for navigation. Okay, then it says, our weekly conferences, which are required, are found on the Conferences tab. Look for the one that's open and enter. So if you click here on Conferences, it's not, because I'm in Student View, it's not going to allow us to look at that. I apologize for that. But what it does is it will have it will have their, let me go to my view so that I can show you what it looks like, because that was the last thing I need to show you on that. Okay, so on the conferences view, here's what it looks like. It'll have new conferences and it'll have concluded conferences. Now, if you click on new conference, it'll actually let you make a conference, but that's not my conference. And so if you go into that, you won't see me because you made one. That's your conference. So the way you'll know it's my conference is when you go in, what you will see is, pull this thing down. Okay, come on. What you'll see is it'll say in progress. And then you click on join and it'll take you into the conference. Do not create a conference. If you create a conference, it's just going to be you and anybody else that doesn't know that's me. My conference will actually say Monday, July 7th, 9 p.m. So you'll know it's my conference because it'll have the date and the time on it. If it says anything other than the date and the time on it, then somebody else mistakenly made that conference. And so you don't want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of my conference. Okay? All righty. Now back to announcements. New rules for navigation. Rules for navigation. Make sure we've got them all. Okay. The times for the conferences will be found on the announcements page. When I exit off of this, I'm going to put a new announcement up about our conferences. Tomorrow, Monday, at 9 p.m. will be the first conference, and Tuesday at 9 a.m. will be the second conference. You are required to go to one of those two conferences. You do not have to go to both. And on the announcement, it'll tell you what you need to look at before you come to the conference. So those are the new rules for navigation. If you have any questions, wonder where you would go. Oh, I know. Questions or concerns, the chat room. Okay, so any questions about navigation, that's where you go, is to the chat room and say, Dr. Hartley, I still don't understand this piece about navigation. Hope this helped.